back to the podcast. How are you guys doing? It's again been a couple of days. And this time, I didn't miss you guys so much. Let me tell you why. It's because I had family over, I had relatives over, and I was having the best time of my life. I was roaming around. I was going around Tokyo. I am a foreigner. I think that's the thing, right? Whenever you have relatives visiting, you always like you have to go around with them, right? So it's almost like you're also a foreigner, and then sometimes you're like, I didn't know this was here, because I'm not going here every day. I'm just going from school, home, work, whatever. Like our daily routines do not involve us going everywhere, right? So like it was almost like I was a foreigner as well, and I was traveling around Tokyo. But it was so fun. It was genuinely, I've always feel so happy whenever we have relatives over, because not a lot of people have the time to come and like spend time with the family, and like neither do we haven't been back home for a while. So it's just so nice when you get to see, and it's like when you're going over and you're staying at their house, you always see them in that setting. But then when they come here, it's like, it makes you so happy to see them in your vicinity, if that makes sense. I hope I use that word right. Vicinity. But I have had a fun week. I think I went out to eat every day. Every day. Lunch and dinner. Okay? So therefore my plans to look awesome for my graduation and like making myself healthy and stuff just went out the window immediately. Immediately it was out the window. I was eating all the shites I could. But the thing is, it's okay. Once or twice or thrice in a year. It's not a big deal. We all need to chill. Like, we all need to stop being so hard on ourselves about being healthy and like on the routine and like very rigid on our diet. Like, I feel like we need to chill out a little bit. Obviously, be healthy, but like, we can chill out. And especially when like relatives are over, you need to. You have to. You have to be able to accommodate according to them, because they wanted to eat outside and I low key did too, okay? So, but I think I've never had that much vegan food in my entire life. Yeah, like in a row. Of course, I've had good vegan food, but I haven't had that much within a week. It was insane, but it was so good. It was so fun. It's just, oh, like I love having people over. And when it's like people who don't mind, you also have to be the kind of person who's like very chill, you're going according to the plan. Of course you have your choices, like, oh, I want to go here, I want to visit here, but you're like going according with the plan, and you're going according to your independence as well. You're not relying on anybody who's like that is like the perfect kind of person to like travel around with. Like, I think you understand what I mean. But usually, when the other person who comes over and is like completely relying on you, it gets really difficult for the other person. For example, if it was me, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I've got university, I can't take them around. What am I supposed to do? But on the other hand, my relatives were super chill. They were just doing their own thing. And then as soon as I was free, I would just like tag along with them. Good times, good vibes. Another good thing that happened right after my last video was the fact that let me first clear it out, okay? So the thing is, I am a dance teacher. I'm a dance instructor, okay? And I've been doing this for the past 8 to 9 years now. Yeah. And my mom started her classes first. So it was just her, and then I was just assisting her after school and like, every weekend, and I would just be there and not really dance, even though I've danced all my life, but I never really, when we were taking classes, I would let her do her thing, like as if I was gonna let, it was all her. So we let the girlie shine for the moment. But now that I was in university, this is 4 years ago. I finally was in university and COVID hit, and I was like, okay, like what are we supposed to do? So we started filming YouTube videos, and that's when I started dancing a lot more. And that's when my friend, another friend of mine, also joined us. And we started doing a lot of it. And I started enjoying it. I started having fun with it because before it was just kind of like, I'm doing it out of just doing it. But then I kind of started having fun with it, and it became more of like a hobby and a profession. So I just continued doing it. And the fun part of it was the editing and everything. And like, just it was very fun to choreograph something, film it, and then edit it, and then add music and everything. And like, every time people saw it, they would be like, "Oh, we saw you in that video." It's like, it's a good feeling. So started doing more and more of it. And then I also decided that since I'm doing so many choreographies, why not start teaching them as well? So I started teaching then on, and it was going well. But right now we're going on. Right now it's back to like, I feel like I'm not able to give it that much time. So, you know, we have our moments of glamour, and then we have our moments of de-glamour, non-glamour, whatever it's called. But I had a specific moment of glamour the past weekend, and that was that I went to a workshop that was conducted by that was conducted by Adil Khan. Now, Adil Khan, you might not know because, I mean, just because I knew him doesn't mean that everybody knows him. But basically, he comes from Mumbai, which is in India, and he has been dancing for a while. I don't know anything about him, honestly. I don't know. I feel like he's been dancing for a while, but the reason why I knew him was because when we were, I want to say around 2018, 2019, my mom came across his Instagram, and she thought that he was very attractive, very cute. And I'm not going to deny any of those things. But she showed me his video, and then I was like, okay, that, like, and also just to, I don't really like find dancers attractive. Like, I've never found a dancer attractive. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, I mean, appreciate the dance, I appreciate the art, but it's not like, oh my god, he's dancing, so he's hot. Of course, it's a very pleasing attribute to have if you have the skill to dance as anybody, as a woman or a man or anything. It's very pleasant to see, but it's not like, oh my gosh, so hot. But when I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, so hot. And yeah, and then I just, we followed him for a while, and we had been watching his videos. He was also like the typical, it was kind of like Zumba and Bollywood had a baby, and that's what his dance was like. And like, it's something that I also, a similar dance style, even though his is a lot more active, mine's a little bit more low key. But yeah, it was just kind of nice to see his videos pop up here and there, and I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then later this year in March, we find out that he's coming to Tokyo for a workshop, and I was like, okay, you know what, maybe I'll go. So I invited one of my friends, who also has a YouTube channel, by the way. You can go, I'm going to point somewhere on the screen, and you can go check it out. And she's really good. And she's also a cousin of mine. So feel free to check her out. Um, and I invited her, and she was game. So I was like, perfect. You know what? Let's do it. And we went. I also kind of vlogged the journey to the workshop, and he was just so like, of course somebody can be attractive and like, but his energy was just like, wow, that's something like, your energy is amazing. So as soon as he entered the room, it was just like, kind of like, everyone's like, I've only seen this happen in Indian videos, like, the whole like cheering and everything. I bet it happens here too, but it was very like, he was just like very, I don't want to say it in like a negative, not a negative sense, but it's almost like he was very, his energy was contagious, basically. And I was fully in there, like, okay, wow, he's cute, he's teaching. He immediately got into the dance, and I was already like huffing and puffing and dying. The thing is, even though I dance, for some reason, every time I learn from another person, I suck. I suck so bad. I don't know. Maybe this is, I would like to believe that every other dancer feels this way, because the thing is, when you're a dancer, you are a dancer yourself. You have, like, you know, your body works a certain way, and you have your own movements, and, like, you have your signature style. And then when somebody else tries to teach you, kind of have to make that style of your own in order to make it look good. Still with me? So, whenever I'm learning from somebody else, whether that be Adil, or whether that be another workshop, or whether that be even my friend who used to suggest steps to me, I have to practice multiple times in order to remember. And, like, if you see me, the way I struggle, you would never imagine that I'm a dancer. You would never, like, that. Yeah, you would just, instructor is like just out of your head. You would just be like, yeah, this bitch does not dance. That's how bad it is. Like, I struggle with it that much. But the thing is, before I was going to his workshop, I made sure to watch the video that he was teaching. I think 1,000 times. I know I sound insane, but I really wanted to do a good job. So I like watched that video 1,000 times. So by the time I got there, I kind of knew the movements that he was going to do next. Like, as he's teaching, I was like, okay, and this part's done, this part's done. Amazing. Great. Such a good workshop. So much energy. All the girls and the guys in the room were such hype masters. I was in love with, I keep on saying energy, but the enthusiasm, the everything of it. Like, the studio was perfect. The people who organized, who are another dance Bollywood dance group, but they're all Japanese and they do it in Japan. They were the ones who organized it. They were amazing. They were like standing in the front of the class doing the same amount of work that we were, and even more, because they had to like remember the steps and do it more properly so that all the students could see them and learn. It was fantastic. I Whenever, like, as I was standing there and I'm learning these steps, I was thinking to myself, like, this is what I want my classes to look like. Like, right now it's just me, and I'm like working with a very small crowd of like people who like Bollywood dancing, and like it's kind of niche. So I genuinely want to conduct classes like this, where it's like the energy is immaculate. The people are having the time of their life, basically. People who can dance and who can't dance, beginners, advanced, intermediate, all of them were there. It was just, I think, the best experience I can have as a dancer, and also as a dance instructor, or even just like somebody who wants to experience something new in Japan. Because a lot of people that come to our classes are usually people who are here traveling for a little bit and they want to try out something new. So they come by and they're like, oh, what is this all about? And like, yeah, it's a good time. It's fun. And dancing's always fun. Dancing is stress relieving. Dancing is everything. Dancing has become such a prominent part of my life that I can't remove it anymore. Like, it's gonna be there no matter what. I'm gonna be doing something with dance, whether I have a job or I don't have a job. Like, it's just such a concrete part of my life that it just will never fade away. And so, after practicing dance at the workshop, it was time to film. And the first filming that we did, I did amazing. I remembered all the steps, like not one step forgotten. Now, stay with me. The entire time that I'm doing the first filming, no steps missed. Everyone is like, "Whoa, good job. Like, you're good. You're doing so good." Like, I was getting like, "You're so doing so good, honey." Like, all of that good energy. And then we practiced a couple more times. He made us sit down and he was like, okay, look at your videos and see what's wrong, and like, what parts you want to improve. And I'm looking at my video and I'm like, slay. Zero improvement required up in here. We're good. We're fine. We are doing, like, we're slaying the dance floor right now. There's literally no harm, no foul. We are so in love with ourselves. I'm just sitting at myself and I'm like glaring at the video. And then he says that, okay, we're now going to practice one more time and then we're going to do it in groups. I was like, wonderful. We practiced one more time. And again, it was fine. This time, no video, but it was fine. I knew what I was doing. Okay. But the thing is, the dance was so, I can't express, hageshi. Like, in Japanese, we say hageshi. But the dance was just really so many steps in a way. But I was also just like kind of lazy. So that's why maybe I was like dying out of air. But after the dance, you were just like, like, you can't breathe. So we finally sat down and I'm chugging Pocari sweat and water. And then I finally, like, all of us are just sat. And then he starts calling people. And so he starts calling groups of two and threes. And we're all just like, yeah, ooh, like, we're all cheering as like the video filming is going on. And he looks adorable. The people dancing look fantastic. The girlies were busting so good. And then he calls me. And let me just okay, yeah, I'm milking. By the way, let me just clarify. I am milking this opportunity as much as I can. Have I been posting videos of this on my Instagram? Yes. Have I been posting videos of this on my TikTok? Yes. Have I been posting videos on YouTube? Yes. Have I been making a video about the experience? All yeses. I will milk this experience as much as I can, okay? And I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. It's not like I did something bad, okay? Like, I danced, I busted my ass off, and I think I deserve to milk the opportunity as much as I can, okay? Now it's on the algorithm if it lets me milk the opportunity, but I'm gonna do my best, okay? So I get called and I am alone with him. I am standing there alone with this man, and I'm like, and I don't know why, but my size that I'm gonna be like, eh, hitori? I'm saying like, oh, just me? Like, because I was so lost, I was so out of air, my brain was just out of oxygen, and I was very high on serotonin or dopamine. I don't know what it was, but I was super like out of it, and like I kind of just went like, just me, and it kind of felt like I don't even know what it felt like because all I remember is saying that, and then the music starting, and I forgot everything. I forgot everything. All the steps from my mind gone completely. And this man is standing right behind me, and like I after and like the music has started, and he goes, now you perform. And I look at him, and I'm like, and then I start doing this shit. I can't. I legit pulled the TikTok like that. Like, bro, what are you doing? But everybody was eating that up. I told you, like, the energy and the people in that room were just the best, most hyping people on the entire. I've never met such a nice group of people in my entire life. And I start doing the thing, and he goes like, hey, hey. Adil from the back is going, hey. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how you start videos, right? That's how you push. But like, I'm not used to this like level of encouragement and cheering, right? So I'm just like, I'm kind of zoning out. Plus, I'm just there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pull whatever I have in me. So I'm throwing all of my attitude, all of my Bollywoodness into like this shoot, and I start doing the dance, and I'm forgetting the steps. Clearly, you can see me like if you see the videos, I posted two of them, okay, and one is with him in the background. Well, not background, more, yeah, I guess in the background. And I'm just trying to avoid looking at him, okay? Because like the moment I look at him, I'm forgetting more. I've already forgotten most of the steps. I'm forgetting more and more, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please, please don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. And so like, it's just like I'm doing my thing, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm also giving all of my expressions, And then there's this one part where I majorly mess up. Like the other parts, they're still like, yeah, I can't tell. Like, you're fine. Like you're still in the dance. Then there's this one part where we had to like kind of like take a circle, like, move side and then move to the side, take a circle, move back to the side, and then take a circle. That moment I messed up the direction of the circle. So you can see that mistake. It's like really, it's very like, oh girl, you messed up. You messed up. We all know you messed up. And like I was like, damn. Like I was so ready to post this video because I was like, oh my gosh, I like mom's gonna be so happy. She's gonna be like, yeah, Mika, I knew that you could, film with him and blah, blah, blah. Like so like we didn't know that we were gonna get to film like separately with him, we just thought it was gonna be like if he happens to like cross in the background, good for us. If not, then it is what it is. But yeah, so once like that video, I am explaining this in so much detail, but that was literally 2 minutes. That entire thing was 2 minutes. That's how quickly things went by. And like that much of a thought process, that much of a dopamine high, that much of lack of oxygen, and just like the hotness emerging from the background. It was just too much. I was like kind of losing my shite, totally losing my shite. But once we were done with it, I was like, and I was like, I sent a text to my mom, like, Mom, I got to dance with Adil alone. And then she was like, oh my God, he comes so proud of you. And I was like, well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to deliver, and you give me proud. Because the next day we were back to like, Mika, you don't do anything. Which is like, girl, I legit just did something that you praised me for yesterday, but now you're back to square one where you're like, Mika, you don't do this, Mika, you don't do that. It's like, make it make sense, girl. Like, it's giving, in the best way, bipolar mama. It's giving bipolar. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, that was the experience, Like, I had so much fun. It was so great. And I was like, okay, I need to go talk to this person. So first I talked to his partner who was also there, and she was again so sweet, so nice, so kind. And she was like, I was telling her the entire story. I was like, my mom introduced me to Adil, and I was like, hey, hot guy, da da. And she's like, hot guy, and I'm like, yeah, like we all were laughing about it. It was really, the interactions were great. Like talking to her and then talking to him, I was just like, hey, I'm also a dance instructor here, and like if you come by next time, I'd love to collaborate on something if that's like an opportunity that presents itself. And he was like, sure. I'm like, I've already spoken to her, so like, yeah, if ever you're around, let me know. And I was like, of course, you were good at dancing, and you were like, you did so well. And I was like, thank you. I knew I messed up when I was dancing with him, but I still appreciate it because, like, the rest of the times, if he did notice, I wasn't messing up. I only messed up when I was dancing with him, which is so bad. It's so bad and so sad. But it's okay. The level of confidence that I had in me at that moment in time, it was like nothing could have beaten me. Like, even though I made a mistake, I was just so in the air. My confidence was just like oozing out of my body at this point. And the best part of it all was that everybody in that room came up to me, and like almost everybody, and they were like, oh, you dance so well. And it was just like, you know like I've heard this so many times in my life. And honestly, not even me, everybody used to go to my mom and tell them that I dance well, and she would always be so proud. And like she always used to come home and tell me like, oh, Mihika, everybody told me that you were doing so well, and like, I'm so proud of you that you dance, and like you're making my dreams come true, and like all of that stuff. Like, it's a big part of my mom's life, and it's a big part of mine. And then like when you're on the receiving end, because this was probably the first time that I've done something dance related on my own. So I was the one receiving these compliments directly. It wasn't coming from my mom, because every time that it comes from your mom, I think everybody can relate to this, but every time it comes from your mom, it feels like she's my mom. Of course she's going to say these things, even though she probably got two compliments for like on my end. It's still like she's my mom. Maybe she's just exaggerating. But when you're on the direct receiving end of it, it's just like kind of, you find that validation and like that confidence, and it's so like refreshing to be like, yeah, okay, you know what, I knew that I danced and I knew that I danced well, but it's not just me. Other people also around me are thinking that, and they see that, and so it's not this like kind of like I'm not just delusional, you know. So it's very validating. It's so nice when people, and like obviously everybody in that room was amazing. I think I also went to a multiple amount of people. I was like, you were killing it. You were so good. And just the energy, and just I keep on saying, but you guys have to believe me. Like, if you see the videos and you hear the background, the hype, the cheering, the encouragement, everything, just the most wonderful package. Like, this is how I imagine, and I want all of my dance classes to go from now on. I want to pursue this level of comfortability and like just that element, because that's what made it so enjoyable, such a memorable experience for me. Of course, Adil was a big part of it, but it's just like the kind of people that gather, and like the people that they, your personality changes. Something around you just becomes, you're just having so much fun. And me and my friend, we were like laughing, giggling the entire time, and we're dancing and we're complimenting each other, and we're standing right beside each other. So in a video, her and I are literally just there, and like she's also killing it. It was so nice. It was so good. And like I would cherish every single moment of this. I'm genuinely like, I'm so like happy. But overall, that was why I didn't miss you guys, and maybe I'll miss you guys next week. But until then, I love you, I guess. And you know what? Subscribe, comment, let me know what kind of things you've been doing in the past weekend. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to know about it. Honestly, you guys feel free to like comment on the YouTube videos. I have been reading a lot, a little bit. So yeah. But until then, keep processing, and yeah. Look at my rings. So pretty rings. Bye.